Welcome. Today we're going to be talking about metric conversions. We're going to talk about how to convert from grams to milligrams, or grams to kilograms, or liters to milliliters, or liters to centiliters. So I'm going to show you two different approaches today of how you can do these problems. Whatever works best for you is great. Alrighty, our targets for today's lesson are to first identify and explain metric prefixes, and secondly, to use conversion factors to convert between metric units. As you continue on in your science career, both of these things here, explaining metric prefixes and using conversion factors, are going to become crucial. This is the chart that we recorded down in our metric units notes. So when we recorded this down, we looked at 4 different categories. Our first category is the prefix. Again, a prefix is what comes before a word, and it's going to tell us about the word. So for example, undone, the prefix un means not, so it'd be not done. These prefixes correlate to a number. So the prefix kilo, for example, means 1,000, which means that there will be 1,000 of our base units, so either meters, liters, or gram, per kilo, meter, liter, or gram. So if we have a kilogram, that's going to be 1,000 grams. And then our factor or words are just going to tell us in words how much of the standard unit that is. So 1 milligram is going to be 1,000th of a gram. This chart is going to be super useful for you. I highly suggest that you memorize the prefixes and their factor numbers. So when we do metric conversions, we're going to use this prefix chart that's right here. This is what we already have in our notes, and it just tells us again the factor word and the factor number that we're going to be using. We're also going to be working through these problems together today to learn how to convert between units. We probably won't do them all, but we'll do a couple together and then you can try a couple on your own. So let's start with our first one, 1A. The first method that I'm going to show you for unit conversion is using a T-chart. It is definitely the preferred method to use. It crosses over into when you convert between metrical and empirical units, or metric and standard units. So this is the one we really want to focus on mastering. And then after this, I'll show you a cheater trick to work through these a little more quickly. So the first thing that we need to do when we're doing these conversions is set up a T-chart. We're going to work on this problem right here. 2,000 meters equals how many kilometers? So once we've set up our T-chart, the first thing that we're going to do is put our known, which is in this case 2,000 meters, into the top left-hand corner of our T-chart. And then we want to know what we're going to. So in this case, from 2,000 meters, we are trying to find kilometers. If we look back up at our factor chart, we're going to use this kilometers because that's what we're trying to get to. And we know that our factor number is 1,000, which means that there are 1,000 meters in 1 kilometer. When we have ratios like this, we can write them as fractions. So we could write this 1,000 meters equals 1 kilometer as a fraction ratio, 1,000 meter over 1 kilometer. Or we could write it 1 kilometer over 1,000 meters. Either one of these would work. We're going to plug one of these factor ratios into our T-chart in order to convert between units. Since we have meters up here in the top, we want to put meters down here in the bottom so that they factor out and will cross out. So we are going to use the one with meters in the bottom, which would be this factor right here. So we're going to put our 1 kilometer on the top and our 1,000 meters on the bottom. This will ensure that our meters are going to cross out, just like in math when you cross multiply. Our factor is now gone, and we are left with our desired units of kilometers. Now, in order to solve this problem, you are going to multiply across the top and divide by the bottom. So multiplying across the top, we have 2,000 times 1, which equals 2,000. and our meters have crossed out, so our unit is kilometers, and then we are going to divide by what we have on the bottom. Since this area is a blank right here, we're just going to ignore it. It would be the same as 1, so we're going to divide by 1,000. And our meters is crossed out, so there's no unit. 2,000 divided by 1,000 equals 2 kilometers. So in our practice problem over here, we have 2. So let's look at our next problem here, 1b. 1b is essentially the same, except for our meters and kilometers here are switched. So instead of going from meters to kilometers, we are going from kilometers to meters. First thing that we do is set up our t-chart. We're going to put what we know in the top left, 9 kilometers. And then we need to look at our unit factors. We know that we are going to use this factor unit. There is 1,000 meters per 1 kilometer. So 1,000 meters per 1 kilometer, or we could write it in 1 kilometer. There are 1,000 meters. We want to have our kilometers here on the top, cross out with kilometers here on the bottom. So we're going to use this conversion factor. Plug it in, 1,000 meters per 1 kilometer. Our kilometers are going to cross out and we're left with meters. And then we need to multiply across the top, 9 times 1,000 meters, which equals 9,000 meters, and divide by our bottom. We ignore this first box, so divided by 1, which is going to equal 9,000 meters. We're going to do one more of these together, and then you're going to try a few on your own. We're going to look at problem 2a, which says we have 9,000 milliliters and we want to go to liters. When we look at our chart and we're deciding on our unit conversion factor, we have milliliters going to liters, so we want to use this milli. First thing we do is set up our t-chart and put our known in the top left, 9,000 milliliters. And then again, looking at our conversion factor, we have 0.001. Well, I guess it's not meters, it's liters this time, per 1 milliliter. Or we have in 1 milliliter, 0.001 liters. In our conversion factor, we have milliliters on the top, which means we need to put milliliters on the bottom. We're going to use this conversion factor, 0.001 liters, 1 milliliter on the bottom. Our milliliters will cross out. And then we need to multiply across the top, 9,000 times 0.001 liters. And then we need to divide by our bottom, which is just 1, so this will equal 9 liters. Please try 2b now. Please try 3a now. So now we're going to look at a little more complex problem. We're going to do number 4a, 6 centimeters equals how many millimeters? We still set this up the same way with 6 centimeters in our top, but the conversion factors are where it's going to get a little weird. So we know that 1 centimeter is 1/100th of a meter, and we know that 1 millimeter is going to be 1,000th of a meter. So we need to figure out what the difference between these two things is. So our zeros will cross out and it's going to be a 1/10. So 1 millimeter, since it's smaller, is a 1/10 of a centimeter. 1 millimeter is a 1/10 of a centimeter. or a tenth of a centimeter equals 1 millimeter. Just like normal, we need to have our centimeters be in the bottom here so that it crosses out, which means we are going to use this conversion factor right here. If we plug that in, we have 1 millimeter is a tenth of a centimeter. We'll multiply across, our units are going to cross out again. And we are going to multiply across the top. 6 times 1 equals 6 millimeters divided by the bottom, 0.1. 6 divided by 0.1 is 60. So there will be 60 millimeters per 6 centimeters. Let's have a look at 6a here. We are going from 50 millimeters and we want to get to centimeters. We're going to look at these two conversion factors again. In 1 meter, there are 100 centimeters, because it's 100th. In 1 meter, there are 1,000 millimeters. The difference between these two is 10. So there are 10 millimeters in 1 centimeter. So 10 millimeters per 1 centimeter, or in 1 centimeter, there are 10 millimeters. We want to keep our millimeters on the top, and then we're going to have to put them down here. So we are going to use this conversion factor. In 1 centimeter, there are 10 millimeters. Our units will cross out, and then we just multiply across the top. 50 times 1, which equals 50 centimeters, divided by 10. So our answer is going to be 5 centimeters. Try problem 3b on your own. Try 8b on your own. The next way that I'm going to show you how to do these problems is a quicker way, but it does not bode as well for chemistry and complicated math. If we look at our prefix chart, we can put these in order. K, H, D, and then for the unit, I call them standards, so I put S, D, C, M. And I remember this by King Henry, died Sunday, drinking chocolate milk. And that kind of just helps us put these things in order. It's called a mnemonic device. King Henry died Sunday, standard, drinking chocolate milk. So that'll tell us kilo, hecto, deca, standard, deci, centi, milli. Where kids get confused with this mnemonic device usually is in this Sunday part. So our Sunday or standard units are going to be meters, liters, or grams. Let's look at a problem using this mnemonic device. We'll look at 4b. So we've got King Henry died Sunday drinking chocolate milk. We are going to go from kilometers, so king, to meters. A lot of times you might want to put the meter here because it starts with an M, but that's not going to be right because our meter is our standard or base unit, so we are going to go to the standard or base unit. In our problem, we have 4 kilometers, and King Henry died Sunday drinking chocolate milk. We need to skip. We're going to move the decimal point with as many as we skip, so we're starting at kilo, going to hecto is 1 jump, deca is 2 jumps, and standard unit or meters is 3 jumps. So in our 4, we'd have a decimal point right here, and we would go 1, 2, 3 jumps. Now we're going to fill in the jumps with zeros, and that would tell us that 4 kilometers equals 4,000 meters. Let's do another one using this same method. We'll try 5b. King Henry died Sunday drinking chocolate milk. we are going to go from grams to kilograms. Grams, there's no G up here, but grams is our standard unit. And we are going to go to kilograms, which is here. So we take starting from grams and we're going to jump 1, 2, 3 to the left. Notice every time I'm touching the actual letter. So if you start from the side of the letter, either way, you're going to get confused. So I jump right to the middle of the letter. So we have 2,000 grams, and our decimal point would be here. And we are going to jump it 3 times. 1, 2, 3 to the left. So this would be 2.0. Try 6B on your own using this method. So on this worksheet, there aren't any problems like what we're about to discuss, but in our King Henry died Sunday drinking chocolate milk, if there were a problem like 6 centimeters equals how many kilometers, we'd need to start at centimeters and move to kilometers. And so we jump 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the left. And 6, the decimal point would come here. So we're going to jump 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to the left. And then these empty humps we just fill with zeros again. So it would be 0.00006 kilometers. Online, you have some more of your own practice for converting between metric units. If you need additional assistance, please ask. Thanks for watching.